Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you an updated version of my Generator deck profile. So I wanted to do an update to this because it looks a whole lot different now. It's way more consistent. It's way more lethal, especially, and it's honestly, I mean, I'm not going to say it's budget. It just depends on what kind of Generator deck you play. The Generator deck core itself, outside of Mardell, is like super cheap, and all of the cards are really high rarity. So that's cool. Oh, and Boss Stage is not cheap as well. I think it's like set at $10 or something like that. But there's a lot of tech cards you can throw in that, I mean, some of them are on the pricier side, but you can really step up the competitiveness of this deck. We all know making True King of Calamities is just a real game ender in a lot of situations. So a lot of times this will really turbo that out. But I just wanted to kind of showcase this version of it because the last one I did looks totally different. So without further ado, guys, let's get right on into this one. So to start off with, I'm going to be playing two of the starters. So this might be a little controversial. I know a lot of people like playing the Condemned Witch. I'm playing both, but I'm also playing two Gearsu. If you don't want to play two Gearsu, that's fine. Like, this deck profile is really just a guide. It's not a set in stone. You have to play Gearsu. If you don't want to play Gearsu, that's fine. Don't play Gearsu. Run the 3 Condemned Witch. That's not a bad strategy at all. I am playing two Gearsu because I just like it, and a lot of times if you draw into the World Armor, because, you know, of Gearsu's effect, but if you draw into it, it's not dead, because you can run Morningstar, and we'll get into that in a little bit when we get in the extra deck. But a lot of times you can just search out another World Legacy card. If you draw into this, it's not a dead card by any means, because, like, if you draw into Gearsu as well, it's just like a 1-card Morningstar, basically, and you can search Monstrosity or Succession. But anyway, yeah, so I'm running two Gearsu and a World Armor just to make his effect live. I'm also running, like I said, two Condemned Witch as well. Condemned Witch is cool because it's basically like 2 more copies of your Lob Tier. So when this card is normal summon, you can add a Forbidden Chalice quick play spell from your deck to your hand, which we do play one of those as well. During your opponent's main phase quick effect, you can tribute this card and the special summon a level 4 fairy from your deck. Excuse me, I hiccuped. And accept another copy of this card, and you only use this effect once per turn. So it's really cool because you get to summon that, you get to search that chalice, and then you can go straight into Lob Tier in your opponent's turn and then go off from there. So this is really cool. Like I said, I do want to stress this. You do not have to play the Gearsu package at all. You don't have to do that. If you just want to focus on Condemned Witch, that's fine. And, you know, on the other side, if you want to just focus on Gearsu, that's fine. So this is just a guide, but this is what I'm playing with at the moment. So next up, we're playing 3 Lob Tier. This card is really great for this deck. It's fantastic for this deck needed. You can only control 1 Lob Tier. All Generaider monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and defense during your opponent's turn only. Like, they weren't already big enough, right? They're all bosses, but they get a boost with him. During the main phase quick effect, you can tribute 1 Generator monster, including the token. Special summon a level 9 Generator monster with a different name from your deck. You can only use this effect of Lob Tier Generator bosses. Shadow of the Generator bosses once per turn. So it's really cool. This essentially turns your tokens into just a big boss monster coming straight out of your deck, and it's a quick effect. So it is really cool. I do absolutely think you need to play 3 of this in this deck. So for the actual Generator monsters, I'm playing 1 Mardell. I don't think you need any more of Mardell. I don't think you need 2. If you wanted to run 2, you could do that. Mardell is really good because you can only control 1 of her, like all the other Generator monsters. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Generator card or a plant monster from your deck to your hand, accept another copy of this card, and this is a hard once per turn. So she is really good, and if you wanted to play 2, that's fine, you could do that, but I don't really think you need more than 1, honestly. I'm also playing a Nidhogg. This card is really good because it has a quick effect where you can tribute a Generator monster or Worm monster and negate a summon if your opponent would special summon a monster, or monsters, plural. And then if you do, you destroy that monster or monster. So this is really good because, like, everything's special summon, so just having this on the field, being able to tribute those tokens is really helpful. I am playing a Naglfar. I know a lot of people don't like to play this, but I do. He's beefy already, but if you have Lob Tier on the field, he'll get up to over 41, so you could beat over a Chaos Max or something like that. And of course you can only control 1 of him, but he also has the effect if a card or cards you control will be destroyed by battle. A card effect, you can destroy a Generator monster, and then instead So, or it says or beast warrior, but that's not relevant right now. It's just generators. So I do like running one of him. Of course, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You don't have to. This is definitely very flexible. But I do like running one Negaphar. I am playing 2 Har, because Har is so good, man. Getting out, a lot of times you'll just get out, what's his name? Calamities, and then you'll also have out Har, and Har is just such a lockdown for your opponent. You can really restrict your opponent. Of course, you can only control 1 Har, Generator Boss of Storms once per turn. If your opponent adds a card from the deck to the hand, except during the draw phase quick effect, you can make your opponent send 1 monster from their hand or field to the graveyard of their choice. So your opponent will be drawing things, like getting extra draws, but they don't really gain advantages off of that too much, because Har really constricts what they can do. Like, they just really have to maintain hand size with him, basically, for the most part. Also, he has a secondary effect, which is great. When a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can tribute 2 generator monsters and or spellcaster monsters. Negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Like, so really great Omni Negate on top of everything else you're going to have out in the field. And he's a big boy at 3,000 attack and defense as well. I'm playing just 1 Hela, Generator Boss of Doom, because she's cool. Quick effect, you can tribute generator monster or zombie monster, then you target a generator monster in your graveyard and then special summon it with a different name than the tribute monster had on the field. So just really good for graveyard recursion. I'm also playing at Utgarda. At first I thought this card was stupid and I hated it, and I was like, God, this card sucks. But I've actually come to like it a lot because as a quick effect where you can tribute 2 generator monsters and or rot monsters, Adamantispators, I'm just kidding. And then you can target a card on the field and banish it. So it does target, but it banishes, so it does technically have, it has non-destruction removal. So that is really cool, and I actually ended up just taking it in. It's like, I'll see how it works. I've actually ended up using it a lot more than I thought it was. So I am running an Utgarda as well. Next up, I'm playing 2 of, that's it for the generator package. So I'm playing 2, I don't know how to say this, Trias Haracha. This thing, it's really good in this deck. It's level 9. During the main phase of this card is in your hand or graveyard. Quick effect, you tribute up to 3 fairy monsters, special summon this card, but then you banish it when it leaves the field, and then you can apply the following effects in sequence depending on the number of tributed monsters. 2+, you destroy 1 card your opponent controls, or 3, draw 2 cards. So this card's really good, just turning out more at level 9s and then getting some advantage off of that as well. This is a tech card, personally, I tried and I like it a lot. And it is Gizmet Kaku, the Supreme Shining Sky Stag. I just started playing this because I was like, hey man, level 9, dude, this thing is so easy to get out into the field into this deck. Because literally the only requirements for this thing is if a monster is in the extra monster zone, special summon this card from your hand. That's literally it. And if you don't use him to go into any other level 9 plays, which is like a huge thing for this, because like I say, he's level 9, easy to get out and just go into your extra deck. Even if you don't use him, he has a great effect. He has 2,750 attack and defense, so big body. And his effect is you can target 1 face-up monster in the extra monster zone, equip that face-up monster to this card, max 1. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 of your monster cards equipped to this card, and then it's a hard once per turn. So I have really loved taking this card into this deck. If you don't want to, that's fine. I know he was kind of, I'm not sure if he still is, I'm sure he is. He was like 20 something, I think, when I got him, but this card does work really well with this deck because he is an easy level 9 monster to get out into the field, and if you don't go into extra deck, you can use his effect, which is really cool as well. And then for the last of the monsters, I'm running just 2 Ash. I did bump this down to 2 because I just didn't, like, this is a tight 42 in my opinion. I did not want to go to 43, just because of what I'm playing. Like I said, if you didn't do the Gearsu stuff, there would definitely be more flexibility. So if you wanted to run some Ash and Nibiru, that's fine. Nibiru would be really good for this deck because this deck does struggle against a ton of negates. So if going second, if your opponent is starting to put a board up, like a really strong board from negates, Nibiru in them would definitely help us ease into our turn as well. So that is it for the monsters, guys. Let us get into the spells. So to start off with, we're playing 3 Call by the Grave because we search a ton, and like I just said, like it's easily interrupted, so you can't power through a ton. You definitely can with certain hands. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's just smart to have the Call by the Grave just in case, so you don't have to worry about that quite as much. You do have a little bit of relief in the back of your mind if you're drawn to this. We're also playing a 3 boss stage, of course, because it's just like really pivotal to this deck. And then on top of that, we're also playing a Terraforming just to kind of see that faster as well. I'm playing one Boss Quest. This card, I don't think you need more of this. More than one of this, excuse me. What Boss Quest does is you reveal a Generator monster in your hand, and then if you do that, you add up to 2 Generator spells and traps with different names from each other. I'm sorry, from your deck to your hand. So you add up to 2 Generator spells and traps, different names from each other from your deck to your hand, except for the copy of this card, and then you replace the revealed monster on the bottom of your deck. So that is really cool. Just being able to, like, if you have too many monsters or something, but you need some access to your spells or traps. That's a good trade-off, just putting a monster on the bottom of the deck and then searching out 2 different ones. Really, really good. I do only play this at 1, though, because it's searchable with Mardell for sure, and then also, but if you draw more than one of this, it's just kind of a dead card in your hand. So for that reason, I'm only running 1 of this, and so far, I haven't regretted only running 1. I haven't really felt the need to run 2. If you want to do that, again, that is fine. So next up, I'm playing 3 of this card that makes this deck so much better. World Legacy Monstrosity. This card is amazing in this deck. Quick play spell, really simple. 2 effects. You can activate one of these effects. You can special summon a level 9 monster from your hand. So it's like really helps out for just getting those generators out of your hand and onto the field. Or you can target 1 level 9 monster you control, special summon from your deck 2 level 9 monsters with different names and original type and attribute from the face-up targeted monster. And with different names from each other, which none of that is an issue. But then these 2 monsters can't attack and they're destroyed during the end phase. That's not going to be a problem, because if you have that many level 9s on the field, you are going into your extra deck for sure. I'm also running 3 Dark Ruler No More, because like I said, this deck definitely struggles against some of the boards that can just like pop up. A lot of negates will hurt this deck, so Dark Ruler No More is very important in my opinion, just to kind of like neuter your opponent's board and be able to go into your plays a little more freely. For card draw, I'm playing 2 Kujukiri Curse, I think is how you say it. This card's really great for this deck. You send a level 9 monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard and you draw 2 cards. Really simple, hard once per turn, but it really helps dig deeper into the deck. I'm also running a World Legacy Succession, because going off of that lib combo, if you have that World Armor in the grave, it's really helpful. Just search this out, set it, activate it, go further into your plays. And then also a Forbidden Chalice. And then also, I'm not going to move this just for 3 cards. I'm running 1 Boss Room. Boss Room is really cool. I only think you need 1 of it though, because it's continuous trap. If your opponent activates a card or effect in response to an activation of a Generator card or effect, you can discard a card, and then your opponent's activated effect becomes each player draws 1 card. So it is really helpful because, like I said, they're not really going to gain too much advantage off of that if we have Har on the field, because they're really having to maintain hand size, and Har is just really going to constrict what they can do with that, and then we'll gain advantage because we'll more than likely have Boss Stage on the field as well. And then 3 Generator Boss Fight, because this card is really important for this deck. You activate a Generator field spell directly from your deck or graveyard, and then your opponent draws a card. So really, really good. We have a ton of ways to see Generator Boss Stage with Terraforming. A boss fight, just a lot of ways to get into it. So that is actually it for the main deck. Give me 1 second and we'll get into the extra deck. Okay, for the extra deck, I'm only playing 1 Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. I did play this at 2. I played at 3, then I bumped it up to 2, and then I bumped it up to 1 because, yes, it's a Generator deck, and yes, if you don't play 2 of this, like to focus more on going to him, you can, and he is great. I just put in so many other options for the extra deck. I found I wasn't going to him quite as much. Now he's still great. It's definitely one with him if you want to. For those of you who don't know what he does, his effect reads: it's 2+ level 9 monsters. You're going to control 1 Jormungandr Generator Boss of Eternity. This card's original attack and defense because 1,000 times its number of materials. Quick effect: you can detach a material from this card. Each player draws a card. Okay, that right there will set off a boss stage. That's cool. And then each player that drew attaches 1 card from their hand or field to this card. You can only use this effect over Jormungandr Generator Boss of Eternity once per turn. So really forces our opponent to remove some of their own resources. It benefits us greatly. It's just constantly replenishing itself, and it can get really big really fast. Next up, we're playing 2. You already knew this was coming. True King of All Calamity. It's just, everyone knows what this card does. This card sucks. I hate playing against it. Honestly, I hate cards like this and Zexal
I'm fully against them, but I mean, it just Generaider is so great with this deck. I'm just gonna play it, like, you know, yeah, I'm hypocrite, whatever. This card can really just shut down and win straight off the bat. I'm opting to play a number 92 Heart of Dragon because I have one, and I know they're expensive. I've had one for a long time, like way before the price bumped up. So I'm choosing to play this one. But what this one does is it's a 3 level 9 monster. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card, so you don't have to worry about the attack or anything. During your opponent's end phase, you can detach one material from this card, and you banish all cards your opponent currently controls that were normal, special summon, or set this turn. So basically, almost everything. You just straight up banish it. It's kind of like Destruction or Sword Flash, except way better. And then, because it's non-target, non-destruction, board wipe, pretty much. And then it has the effect of this card is destroyed while it has material. You can special summon this card from the graveyard. And when you do that, it gains 1,000 attack for every card currently banished. So this card can get up huge really fast, especially if you use its previous effect, just straight up board wipe your opponent. If you don't want to play this, that's fine. This is one of the other spots I'd take out, like I sided in. When the tournaments, nothing's going on right now, I'm just playing casually, but Magnite of the Morningstar, because if you draw that World Armor, it won't be dead, because you can just go into this using Gearsu, dump that World Armor, and then search out Monstrosity or Succession and go into your place from there. So I would definitely, if you don't have access to number 92, you can definitely play Morningstar, or you can also play Link Haribo as well. That's definitely an option too. Next up, we're playing 2 9 Lives Cat. This card is so good in this deck, like absolutely just a lifesaver. What this card does, for those of you who don't know, because I'd forgotten about it for a while, it's 2 level 9 monsters. It has a huge defensive body at 3300, only 900 attack though, but we're definitely not using this card at 2k. Using itself. Your opponent cannot target other monsters you control that were special from the graveyard or card effect. So that's awesome. You'll see why. Because you can detach material from this card, then target 1 level 9 monster in your graveyard, or 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it. So it brings something out to the field, and then it gives it protection. So that is really great, especially with stuff constantly going in the graveyard. Just this being able to give you graveyard recursion is so good. This card is really, really good. I had played it at 1, but there were so many times I wish I had 2 of these, because like your opponent is really going to want to get rid of this. I wish it could get rid of them. So yeah, 2 9 Lives Cat I think is pretty important. I'm also playing 1 Phantom Fortress Interblathnir. You guys know how to say that. It's 2 level 9 monsters, and then once per turn you can attach a material from this card and deactivate one of several really good effects. You banish a card your opponent controls, not target, non-destruction, removal. You banish a random card from your opponent's hand, banish a card from your opponent's graveyard, or banish the top card of your opponent's deck face up. Really, really good. It's really situational if you need to do any of these, but you have the option to go into this. If you don't want to play this card, that's fine. You could definitely swap that out for like Link Reaper or something. So that's it for the Exceeds. I'm playing 1 of the Trish Fusion. I literally got that like I think a day or 2 days before the reprint of it was confirmed in the Battles of Legends. I was pissed because I paid like 22 bucks for that thing, but it's cool. It's whatever. A Link Ross as well. Link Ross is pretty important IP. IP is just really great in this deck for sure. So I love just being able to go IP Unicorn Bounce on your opponent's turn. That's awesome. I'm going for Lib because, like I said, Lib with the Gearsu combo is really great, especially if you have the War Armor in the graveyard. It's live. Being able to search that Succession, set it, activate it, bring something from your graveyard to a zone that this points to, and then go on from there is really cool. Also, a Nightmare Phoenix, just because. Also, a Unicorn, because, like I said, Unicorn Bounce. Awesome. Appaloosa, and then also, last but not quite least, Axos Code Talker. I actually don't have the BLS link. If so, I would play this in this deck. I'm just not going to get it right now because I'm just convinced either that or Boral Sword is going to get be one of the chase cards in the 10s besides Dragoon, so I'm holding off on that. If you had the BLS link, I do recommend you would play it. I'm not sure where, maybe under number 92 or this, or maybe if you want to bump down 9 Lives Cat to 1, you could do that as well and then play that from there. It would be a great card in this deck. But that is it for the deck profile, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't noticed, I did things a little bit different this way. I was just kind of getting tired of like the same repetitive thing, and this, I feel like this is a little bit better. If it looks a little more cleaner to me, and cards, if or anything, if effects are a little bit weird, if most people don't know about it, I can just easily bring them up and
let you guys read them. But let me know what camera angle you guys like the most. Also, let me know about what you love about generators, if you love them. What's your favorite build? Do you prefer 3 Condemn Witch? Do you prefer Gear Suit? Do you prefer both, like I'm playing at the moment? But let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinions. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe. I would absolutely love that. Nothing gives me more joy than seeing more subscribers. Just it absolutely makes my heart glad. And also, not many things make me happier than seeing some thumbs up on these videos. I'm still a very small YouTuber who allows my videos to circulate around a little bit better. You think I'd eventually be able to say that, right? Probably not. And yeah, go ahead and hit that bell so you can become part of the notification team so you can get notifications for deck profiles just like this one. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.